record information, obituaries, and more on your desktop, laptop, iPhone, or smartphone. DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today is Jack Myers with Social Security. Good morning, Jack. How are you?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. And we were talking before we got started, Jack, our baseball teams really aren't very good. I think we had hoped we would have this conversation this summer and we'd have a couple of teams that were in contention. But, man, it is not looking likely for either of our baseball clubs right now.
No, I don't think either of us expected that this is where we'd be sitting in July. But, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It happens. And I don't know. I guess maybe by the time we catch up next month, we'll have a little bit more excitement to talk about, maybe with some trades or whatever. We either try to get better or do some selling. But at any rate, Jack, we'll dive into some things about Social Security and take our minds off the awfulness that is our baseball teams. Let's dive into, Jack, starting out talking about the celebration of Americans with Disabilities Act, 33 years of ADA. How about this?
Yeah, it is important that we talk a little bit about the ADA because it's so important to many of our Social Security disability beneficiaries. And to kind of tie a couple things together, Seth, recently I saw a story on our website where we were highlighting a person named Matt. It doesn't have a last name or anything, but it's just kind of his journey through getting back into the workforce and how both the ADA and a program that we have called the Ticket to Work program helped him and can help other beneficiaries reach their goals. So he was a person who was deaf and also wanted to seek employment, but because of his deafness, he needed accommodations and he was reluctant to tell prospective employers about this disability. I think, he probably wondered if it would prevent them from hiring him, felt a little bit discouraged about this. But then he connected with this Ticket to Work program, which is something through Social Security. And it's a program that supports career development for people who are ages 18 to 64 who receive Social Security disability benefits and want to work. So what it is, Seth, is it's just basically a free and voluntary program. So it's nothing anybody has to do. But through this program, you can get connected with approved service providers that will offer supports and services as you work toward financial independence through work. So the whole idea there is to help somebody like Matt learn how, and in his case, I don't know if he was deaf his whole life. Sometimes it's somebody who's got a newer disability. And the Ticket to Work program helps you learn how to adapt to work, whether you've always had the disabling conditions or if they're new. And they also work with employers. So the employers know that you have something that they need to help you overcome, some sort of accommodations that they need to provide. And so really it's a very good way to get matched up with an employer. You can learn what type of impacts returning to work will have on your Social Security disability benefits. For example, you learn about the fact that you have a trial work period. So the first time you try to go back to work while you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, you can work for up to 9 months without it having any impact on your Social Security benefits. You also learn things like, hey, if you go back to work, even if you lose your benefits on a monthly basis eventually because of work, your Medicare health insurance will continue for many months after that point even. So it takes some of the fear, I guess, out of the attempt to return back to work. And, you understand that there are these incentives that you can take advantage of, and you don't risk losing everything the first time you try to go back to work. And, through all that, through, navigating through that program, this person, Matt, he really ended up being successful. He now works full-time as a human resource analyst. He's completely off of Social Security disability benefits, so he's independent of those. And I think for a lot of people that's the goal. Seth, I mean, a lot of times people think that somebody goes on Social Security disability because they don't want to work. They've hit the jackpot when they get there. Well, that really couldn't be further from the truth. Nobody's getting rich off of Social Security disability benefits. Most people aren't living the lifestyle they would like to live off of Social Security disability benefits. It's a need, and it's helpful for sure. It's a great safety net. But for those who have the ability to get back into the workforce, that is often their goal. That's what they want to do. And these programs, such as the ADA and the Ticket to Work program, can really help people do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that, Jack, because that's kind of what I was thinking. There's probably a lot of folks out there that sit there and think, oh man, this guy is probably he's probably one of few that actually want to do this. And I'm curious, does this program keep track of success stories like that? How effective is it in, getting folks back to work and independent of their benefits through Social Security, even though they are eligible for those? How about that?
Yeah, I don't have any statistics at my fingertips. I'm sure that they do. It's often all about the individual.
Right.
Sometimes, of course, people can't. It's just that they're on disability benefits for a reason. But there are a lot of circumstances where they can and eventually do. I tell people all the time that in order to qualify for a disability benefit, you have to have a condition that's expected to last at least a year. That doesn't mean you have to be on disability for the rest of your life. And, for a lot of people, that's a real tough thing to accept, is applying for disability. So, perception doesn't really match up with reality there for a lot of our disability recipients and applicants. I think there's a lot more of a stigma that people place on themselves when it comes to applying that they really shouldn't. I mean, these programs are there. You've worked, you've paid into them. If you need them, apply for them. SSA.gov is our website. Take a look at that. If you're on disability already and you want, maybe you're hearing this and you're thinking, hey, this is great. I would love to try to go back to work if I know that I'm not risking everything, because that's kind of a huge deal for people. So if that's your situation, on our website, go to ssa.gov and just look for work, or you can navigate straight to www.choosework.ssa.gov. That'll give you information on this Ticket to Work program. There's also a phone number you can call, and that's 866-968-7842. So I'll repeat that, 866-968-7842. And that would be for you to try to connect with one of these Ticket to Work program providers so that you can learn more about trying to go back to work.
And Jack, just a highlight, I know that communication for those individuals that want to try this, that's important, because Social Security needs to know if this is something that they are going to embark on. Speak to that for a moment.
Yeah, very good point, Seth. We have all these work incentives that allow you to try to go back to work and not risk losing your benefits in the beginning. So the first time you return to work, you've got an opportunity. If you're on Social Security disability, you have this 9-month trial work period, but you have to let us know. So go to ssa.gov/locator to look for contact information for your local Social Security office if you don't already know it. But let us know when you're going back to work. Save your pay stubs. Keep a record of how much you're working, because we need to know what you're doing on a monthly basis in terms of how much you're earning. And by communicating that to us, you can prevent some unwelcome surprises down the road. If you just go off on your own and go back to work and don't let us know about it, then you could end up working longer and getting benefits that you maybe shouldn't get. So, that's why it's very important to communicate to us so we can keep you informed of where you're at in the process.
Anything else on that program, Jack? Anything we missed you want to put out there for us?
I want to repeat one more time the website for the Ticket to Work program, it's www.choosework.ssa.gov.
Very good. Jack, I'll tell you what, let's take a time out here, dive into a couple more topics on the other side of a break. Jack Myers, Social Security, our guest on the phone. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. Corn starting the day higher, beans lower, and wheat starting the day lower. July corn opening 554 3/4, up 6.5. September corn up 7 1/4, 492 1/2, and December new crop 499 3/4, up 6 1/4. July beans 1540, down 7 1/4. August beans down 9. 1459 3/4, and November new crop 1344 1/4, down 10 3/4. July wheat on this Thursday 654 3/4, down 7 1/4. September wheat down 13 1/4, 661. December wheat 678 1/4, down 12. July bean meal 417.50, down 40 cents. July bean oil down 98 cents, 67.60. Opening numbers on this Thursday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Yes, we finally have new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels. Custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, high countries. This month, get an extra down payment assistance on all Silverados. Baum Chevrolet Buick. We have inventory. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Jack Myers with Social Security, my guest on the phone here for this morning. Jack, let's speak to a little bit the affordable connectivity program and its help for SSI recipients getting internet access. What do we have here? What's this all about?
Yeah, so, we talk a lot on the program, Seth, about some of the services that we offer on our website at ssa.gov. There's all kinds of great stuff you can do on our website in terms of information access, things you can actually conduct, businesses you can conduct, like filing for retirement, filing for disability. So it just kind of speaks to the importance of internet access for so many different reasons. If it's not Social Security, it's some other reason why you need internet access. But for a lot of households, it still remains unaffordable, and it remains difficult to pay that internet service bill. So, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, actually has a program that can reduce the cost of getting online. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it can provide a discount of up to $30 per month toward internet service for eligible households. It can provide a discount of up to $75 per month for households on qualifying tribal lands, but I don't know of any of those around this area. And then there's also a one-time discount of up to $100 toward purchasing a laptop, desktop, or a tablet from a participating provider with a co-payment of more than 10 but less than 50. So basically, Seth, you could get $30 a month towards your internet bill, and you could even get a little bit of money off of the purchase of a device to help you get online. And where the connection to SSI comes in, because as you know, we administer the Supplemental Security Income, or SSI program, in our Social Security offices. And it's a program that pays benefits to people on the basis of age if they're 65 or older, or disability if they're under 65, if they have limited income, limited resources. So it's a needs-based program. If there's somebody in your household who gets SSI, then you would be eligible to receive discounted internet service through this affordable connectivity program through the FCC. So that's the connection with SSI. If anyone in the household gets SSI, you would qualify for that financial assistance with the internet service. So, it's really a good deal to check out, a good idea to check it out. There are a couple ways you can do it. If you want to go to getinternet.gov, that's a site that's dedicated to this program. Or you can just go, if that's hard to remember, go to fcc.gov, Federal Communications Commission, and you can navigate there to information about the program. If you're not already online, because I recognize the irony of that, we're talking about can't afford to get online. Here's how you could get online. Oh, and go to this website. Well, they actually have a phone number too. So you could call them at 877-384-2575.
Now, Jack, did you mention if someone is not on SSI, but there's the possibility of still being eligible? Did you speak to that?
Seth, I didn't, but that's a great point, because there are other ways that you can qualify for assistance to that program. So some of the examples would be if, somebody in your household receives assistance through programs such as SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, maybe Medicaid, Federal Public Housing Assistance, Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC, Lifeline, and more. So there are several other programs. If nobody in your household is on SSI, those other programs would also qualify you for the Affordable Connectivity Program. And then even if you haven't applied for any of those programs, you can also qualify if your household income is at or below 200% of federal poverty guidelines. So, there are a lot of different ways. Of course, you're going to be limited income, limited assets in some capacity in order to qualify for these programs. So in order to qualify for this Affordable Connectivity Program, that's going to be true as well. But, those are the folks that need this help the most. So that's who this program's for.
Sure. And again, Jack, those contact points one more time for this program.
Sure. Getinternet.gov or fcc.gov are where you can find it online, or you can give them a call at 877-384-2575 and potentially save up to $30 a month towards your internet bill.
Very good. Well, Jack, I'll tell you what, Jack Myers is with Social Security, our guest on the phone here for this morning. I'll let you direct us here, Jack. Do you want to start on the spectrum of starting a job and figuring out what you earned at that first job, or do you want to speak to retirement? Where do you want to go with the conversation today, sir?
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk just a little bit about earnings at your first job, and how you can find information about that. Because, sometimes as we're in the summer, as parents, I have children, and, we kind of talk and think back. We talk to our kids as they're starting their first jobs and think back to our first jobs. And, it's kind of fun if you actually go to our website at ssa.gov and create a My Social Security account for yourself. You can look at your account and you can look at your earnings history and see exactly how much you made at your first job. My first job was detasseling corn. And in my memory banks, that was a long, grueling, tough summer where I was in those fields every day. When I look back at my earnings record, it doesn't really support that. It was about $250, $300 that I made that summer. So I'm guessing maybe I didn't work as many days as I think I did, but it's just kind of fun. It's fun to look back at those early years of work and see how much or how little you actually made. But in addition to being interesting and kind of a point of discussion between you and family members, it's also important that you look at that earnings history. And maybe those first couple years aren't as important in the grand scheme, but when we calculate a benefit from Social Security, one day your retirement benefit or your disability benefit, we're going to be basing it off of your earnings record through your lifetime of work. So for retirement, it's going to be based off your 35 best years. So looking at that earnings record becomes very important to make sure that those earnings were reported properly. It's your employer's responsibility to report those earnings to Social Security. But if they don't do it, or if they make an error in their report, you may not get credit for earnings and taxes that you've paid. And, even though it's their responsibility and in a lot of ways their problem if they don't do it, it's also potentially your problem, because when you start to collect Social Security benefits, if earnings weren't properly reported and you didn't get credit for them, that could reduce your monthly benefit. And that could reduce your monthly benefit every month for the rest of your life. So, in the long term, you could be looking at thousands of dollars less than you would have gotten had those earnings been reported correctly. So it's up to you to take a look. If your employer didn't report your wages for whatever reason, and I don't want to alarm anybody, that's not very common. That doesn't happen very often, but I can't say that it never happens. So if you had a W-2 that showed that you worked and you paid into Social Security and Social Security taxes were withheld, and you notice on your earnings record that those wages weren't reported to us, if you contact us and get that W-2 to us, we will correct that record and give you credit for those earnings. And all you really have to do is ask and show us the proof. So it becomes very important for you to spot those issues and contact us at Social Security with either your W-2, or if you were self-employed, you'd need your self-employment tax return and proof that you paid the income tax. But the point is, if you spot those problems while you still have access to the documents, it's very simple to get it fixed. Now, if you wait and you notice that 20 years down the road and you don't have those documents anymore, then it's not as easy. So that's why it's real important to take a look at that on an annual basis, just to make sure that that earnings record is accurate and that it does properly reflect the work you did and the taxes you paid.
Easy enough. Jack, where do we go to learn more about this?
Check us out on the website, ssa.gov, specifically my account, ssa.gov/my account, if you want to take a look at the earnings record. But just general information about Social Security is on the website, ssa.gov.
Very good. Jack, anything about the Springfield office we should know about? I know Springfield's battled some power outages and those sorts of things. What's kind of the status of the Springfield office as we speak this morning?
Well, fortunately, our office didn't really lose power. We had power the whole time. There may have been a little bit of a blip the day of the storms last Thursday, but we're business as usual. Fortunately, and there were so many people, I know even around you, so many people were without power for so long. It's just, terrible for them. But fortunately, the Social Security office in Springfield is business as usual.
Sure.
Has power.
Good to hear. Jack, it's always good to talk to you, sir. Enjoy your month of July. We'll catch up in August. Can't believe we're already saying that. Jack Myers, Social Security, our guest on the phone. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton 92.3 FM.